having an interesting conversation about this last night. Um, and I'm a big advocate of SRE and using it as a term. It means site reliability engineering. Google wrote a book about it explaining a lot of principles for it.
So you're an advocate because you explicitly went to follow the Google train, practically.
No, so I don't think everybody can be Google. I don't think everybody should be Google. But I do think that Google has defined the term in a way that's useful for people, because I find that sysadmins and operators are stuck in a rut from a job operations perspective in a lot of companies.
I absolutely agree that you need to have engineer in the title. I think that by appending engineer, you are adding that bit that you're talking about you create things. You don't just watch, you don't just like operate. I actually really like operations engineering because I think it's a good hybrid of, yes, you're an engineer, you build, you create, but what do? You do operations, and it captures the
airplane.
It captures the breadth and the scope. The thing I don't like about site reliability engineer is the narrow slice. Site reliability, it makes it sound like I get paid to keep somebody else's shit alive, and I hate that.
So 100%, my first reaction to site reliability engineering was like, we're really going to end up talking about logging and monitoring.
I don't want to be
the
a
only
site
thing.
reliability engineer. That's just so boring.
And so one of the huge things about what Google came out with was pay equity between operations engineering and software engineering, which I think is a huge piece to it.
Huge.
And there's a whole bunch of ideas in that
fact,
book that are really important.
I would argue that calling whatever you call it is not nearly as important as the actual treating them equally.
The reality is, in an org, salary, position, and hierarchy go hand in hand, and if you pay the operational team equally with the development team, magic will happen, and you'll solve this problem.
Just like if you pay senior engineers and management on par. I'm a big fan of that as well.
It's a big parallel career track. It's really important. But
site reliability.
I still believe that Google has done us a favor by defining a term that you can take and drop on somebody's desk.
They have done that, and they have defined it in such a way that it signals you're going to work for a big org. You're going to have this this job that is pretty limited in scope. That where it's like you're paired with software. It connotes a certain thing that I associate with the LinkedIns, the Googles, and a lot of people, including me, really don't like that.
And so I didn't pick up that context from it. I'm talking to smaller orgs where people are like, I don't want to call myself a DevOps engineer because DevOps people will shame you for calling that function DevOps. And so I feel like we need a term that's...
What about systems engineer?
So I think systems engineer is good. I think ops engineer, there's a ton of good titles for this. The reason why I started embracing SRE is because Google defined it as a job function. It's very clear.
I'm super glad that they did.
And going.
I just don't want to do that job, so I guess that's why I don't want that title.
Fair enough. And I would say this. I had the same pushback when people talk serverless. I'm like, no, that's horrible. But I came to embrace it because it meant something more broadly.
Yep.
And
I agree. It does mean something more broadly. Site reliability engineer means a lot of things broadly that I don't want. So.
And thus we have, I think, part of an ongoing discussion as we start trying to define how these terms work, looking for what, we're really trying to both of us, make operations, understand its core relevance in an organization, make sure it has equality and respect, that we're doing the automation and really making it an engineering function. I think we all agree on this.
I want it to be a good job people are proud to have, that they don't get shit on. They aren't expected to do I want it to be a noble profession.
There we have a lot of agreement. So title, who cares? Need for making this more important, I think, is a really big deal. So we should keep having the discussion about what to call this function.
Yeah. Just toss them all in a pool. I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.